What is up, Titans Nation? Thanks for joining us for another exciting episode of Titans 2. We're going to be previewing the Dolphins versus the Titans matchup here in Week 5. For this week, we could not, unfortunately, find a true Dolphins fan to be a part of this episode, but we do have our friend Cusic, who is going to be filling in as the Dolphins fan guest for us. So Cusic, thank you for joining us on our show today.
You're most welcome.
Thank you, sir. So what can you tell us about the Dolphins so far this year?
They're mammals, just like Dan Marino. I heard that they travel in packs.
Okay, what has the team done to prepare for this week? Has the Titans come to town?
Well, there's always, predators about that you have to prepare for. Luckily, echolocation is how they've been communicating.
Okay. So, anything else you have to say about the Dolphins?
Yeah, I wrote a little jingle about the Dolphins. So, they're not fish, they're mammals. Dolphins, Dan Marino was a mammal. Hey, Dolphins.
Apologies for that. We had heard that he was a dolphin expert. Apparently he mistook the mammal for he mistook the football team for the mammal. I thought this was some kind of nature show. But no, this is a football show. So let's get down into football.
Let's get the real breakdown here.
Titans are playing the Miami Dolphins this weekend, this Sunday. Both teams are 1-3 coming off losses. We lost to the Houston Texans. Dolphins lost to the Cincinnati Bengals. So it's a big game. Let's find out who has the advantage. What do you say?
Let's do it. So as you were saying, yes, both teams are 1-3 coming into this game. And a quick recap of what the Dolphins have faced this year. They were taken down by the Seahawks in Seattle, 12-10 in their first game. Lost by a touchdown to the Patriots in their next game. They got their first win against the Browns, but in overtime by a touchdown.
Even count?
And then a poor showing, probably their worst played game so far this year, against the Cincinnati Bengals, which was played on Thursday night.
So they've played some good competition early, but they have not been producing on their end, even though these games have been closer. As of right now, they're ranked 25th in total offense, and they're ranked 28th overall in total defense. 29th against the run, which is pretty bad, and then 23rd against the pass. So far, the Dolphins are not looking like a very viable contender.
Statistically.
And
then also in the turnover differential, Miami is -5, so they're losing the turnover battle, much like the Titans.
But yeah, they're 29th in the league in turnover differential. We're 28th.
All right, clear advantage.
Right back to back. So let's get into the breakdowns. It's a little more in-depth at the positions, find out who has the advantage, because we can't really go on team stats. It's hard to say. It's still early in the year, and they've played some good opponents. We played some good opponents, though. So let's just get into the team stats.
Let's do it.
Right now, starting with the
quarterback,
the captain of the ship,
Mr. Ryan Tannehill. So as far as stats go this year, he's putting up 252 yards per game through the air with 6 touchdowns and 5 interceptions. Probably not what the Dolphins fans were hoping for out of their franchise quarterback. They were hoping that he would turn the corner here sometime in the future, but it doesn't seem like he's taken that next step like they were expecting.
Nope. Still hasn't proven himself. Still looking like a mid to bottom tier quarterback. He's been in the league. The Dolphins gave him the big contract a few years ago, and he just hasn't lived up to that money that they're paying him. And it's still continuing this season. He's been struggling a lot.
And he has shown flashes in the past, so he has shown promise that he can take the next step. He just hasn't done it. They have a lot of scary weapons at the wide receiver position, so the potential is there for sure. So he can't take anything lightly.
And also his name is just kind of weird. Tannehill? Or like Tanny Hill?
Tan on the hill?
Tannehill. So, yeah, let's talk about Mariota.
Okay.
Because Tannehill's been pretty bad early, but, and I hate saying this as a Titans fan and as a follower of my Lord and Savior Marcus Mariota, but he's been pretty bad so far through these 4 games. Now there's hope that he's going to turn it around, but we have only 4 games this season to go on, and he's been the worst quarterback in the league production-wise.
I think that's
Marcus
right.
is coming off one of his most inaccurate games of his career against the Texans, and we were still in it. We almost won that game. So, this is a tough one. 2 struggling quarterbacks. Marcus is a little younger, so he's still trying to figure stuff out. But since this is Titans Tube, and since neither quarterbacks have been producing very well, I'm going to call this a wash.
We're going to wash
advantage.
Wash the advantage. This game will not be won by the quarterback play.
I don't think it will. No.
All right. This is our first wash in our positional comparison for game previews.
It is.
Congratulations, Mariota and Tannehill.
Good job for both sucking.
All right. Well, since the quarterback play is poor for both teams, let's move on to the running back position.
Yeah, the aspects that might actually win the game for
the Titans.
Yes, for the Titans.
Because the Dolphins' running game, not really there at all.
Well, they signed Aaron Foster in the offseason. He was already getting old in Texas.
I mean, but can we not see that coming that he was going to end up getting hurt?
I mean, yeah, seriously, they should have
Major
known.
injury woes.
I mean, no one else wanted to sign him. He finally landed with the Dolphins. And what do you know? He gets hurt.
Bam.
2 games in.
Down he goes.
Yeah, their running game's struggling. Their backup is, and I don't even know how to say his name correctly, but Jay Ajayi?
Ajayi? I think it's Ajayi. Either way, Jay is in both of his first name and last name.
So we're going to call him Double J. JJ. JJ is the running back. And so far this year, he's only had 18 rushing attempts on the year for 75 yards. Their run game has been struggling. They're only averaging 77 yards a game rushing. They also have the young running back out of Alabama,
Kenyon Drake,
who
backed up Derrick Henry at Alabama.
Yep, and he's gotten some carries this year. When I was looking at stats, I believe he's gotten 13 attempts for 64 yards.
Not running the ball a lot.
Not running the ball, and based on Tannehill's stats, not throwing the ball well either. So offense is struggling. Titans' running game, though, might be our only bright spot right now because DeMarco Murray is on fire! I mean, through 4 games, DeMarco's already had 2 multi-touchdown games. He's broken 100 yards once, which we didn't have a runner do that since CJ. He's averaging over 5 yards a carry. I mean, our running game is looking solid. Not only that, I believe they just came out with a stat today that we have currently the best ranked offensive line in football right now.
Who expected that? Our number 1 offensive line in the league, the Titans?
That's really good to hear, though, because we've spent a lot of money in draft picks over the last few years on offensive linemen. So thank God. So that just goes to show you, if you spend enough money in draft picks on one position or one aspect of your team,
it'll work out
eventually. It's going to work out. So advantage Titans in the run game for sure.
Yeah.
Let's move on to the receivers. So their number 1 guy, Jarvis Landry.
They got some skills.
He does have some
receiver
skills.
Position, just across the board, yeah.
Very good receiver. He has 31 receptions on the year for 375 yards. He is averaging 93.8 yards a game, so almost 100 yards a game so far. Don't forget that Tannehill only throws for a little over 200 each game, so most yards and most catches are going towards Jarvis Landry's way. So if we can shut him down like we shut DeAndre Hopkins down last week, it might be pretty good for us. But they also have some other receivers.
Got some Kenny Stills action coming at you, who is a former New Orleans Saint, who is he's a playmaker as well.
He can stretch the field. He's got some good speed. Can definitely go deep.
Also, they have, really quick, Devontae Parker, young receiver, super athletic. He looks really good. Gonna have to watch out for him. So our secondary is gonna have to limit the big plays because these guys are definitely game breakers.
And then tight end, they have Jordan Cameron, who hasn't produced a lot this year. He's only got 8 catches so far. Doesn't even have over 100 yards total. But he definitely is a skilled tight end, has a good pass catcher. But just based on the numbers, and I know they have some good players across the board that we have to guard, but just based on the numbers, Jarvis Landry is Tannehill's clear favorite target. I mean, he has 31 receptions. The guy with the second most is Devontae Parker with 13. So we're looking at a major drop-off from 1 and 2. But, like we said, the guys like Kenny Stills only has 9 catches on the year, but most of those are like deep balls, big plays. So we have to be wary of the big plays from their receivers. They can still break out even though they mainly look towards Jarvis Landry. Anyways, let's go to our receiving game. There's not a lot of bright spots here, even though we have Kendall Wright back. But he came off a bad game. Our whole passing game came off a bad game, though.
We finally got a big play out of one of our receivers, though, and former Miami Dolphins, Rashard Matthews, who caught a 60-yard bomb from Mariota against the Texans. So that was good to see that we got a huge play from a receiver.
Yes, but that was about it from our receiving game. I mean, Andre Johnson led our team with 3 receptions. Our leading receiver had 3 receptions. And
then everybody else had like 2.
Everyone else had 2. Tajay Sharp has definitely fallen off from his first few weeks. Delaney Walker has been dealing with a hurt hamstring. He didn't have a huge game against the Texans. Kendall Wright's coming off a hamstring injury too. So hopefully these guys can start to get it back together now that they've been playing together for a few weeks, starting to practice again with Mariota. So maybe we'll see something different out of our receiving game, especially with the Dolphins and their weak defense.
I hope so.
But we're just not producing right now at all, and it's a big worry for the fans and the team and everyone who knows the Titans. The passing game is not getting it done. So clear advantage to the Dolphins, in my opinion. Okay, last, let's cover the defenses. Now, we've already gone over like overall stats and rankings for the defense, so let's kind of break down some personnel. Dolphins, big guy up front that they got from Detroit.
Saw,
dude. Ndamukong Suh.
Dude, Suh.
He's currently leading their team on the year in sacks with 2.5, which isn't a whole lot. It still is really early, though. So let's not also forget that they have Mario Williams, a former first-round pick from Houston, on their defensive line. He's definitely not a bust. I don't know if he would.
Definitely not.
If you had to redo the draft, I don't think he would go number 1 overall. But he has produced solid numbers. It's definitely a guy we have to watch out for, especially combined with Suh. As for other well-known players, Kiko Alonso.
Yeah, solid linebacker.
I've heard that name before.
I think we should also give a shout out to Rashad Jones. I think they have a really good safety back there. He got a pick against us last year. So yeah, watch out for Rashad Jones. He's a solid safety.
He is. He's currently leading their team in tackles.
Fine.
We know their production. They're not producing. They're one of the bottom teams in the league of overall defense, pass and rush. They're losing the turnover differential, so the defense is not creating turnovers.
That's their defense.
That's all we know about their defense. Maybe someone can chime in the comments and tell us more. But
we would love to hear from you.
I'm not going to read it because I don't care about the Dolphins, yo. I care about the Titans. Let's talk about the Titans defense.
Yeah, buddy. It's getting there. It has been there for us. The Titans defense has been nice and steady, pretty solid, keeping it close in games for us.
We did finally win the turnover differential in a game against Houston. We got 2 interceptions. Both our starting cornerbacks, McCourty and Cox, both got interceptions. So props to them. Yeah, Arakpo's been looking really good, especially in the pass rush. I think he's leading our team right now in sacks.
Yes,
and we're 14th overall on defense, which is not bad. Kind of like right in the middle of the league. And we've played very close against some very good offensive teams.
Yeah, we've shut down the likes of Adrian Peterson, DeAndre Hopkins, Amari Cooper. Still, the defense is producing good results. Pleasantly surprised with their production so far against some good offenses.
Especially, and let's mention this, in the second half. So that's 2 weeks in a row where the defense has held the other team scoreless in the second half. If you date it back to Detroit only got 3 points in the second half. So out of the last 3 games, our defense has only allowed 3 points in the second half. So I wish we could just start the game at halftime and then play it from there.
We would shut out a lot of people.
Half. Yeah, our defense will be number 1 overall.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm going to go advantage Titans on defense. Another thing to note, they could end up moving the game to Nashville depending on the weather. So I just think it's something to note here. I think that would also help in our advantage category. So let's get to predictions. Tell me your prediction, Justin!
I am an optimist. Shocking, I know. I'm going to take the Titans. I don't think we're going to blow the doors off of them. I mean, how can we say that? I think it's going to be a close game. Of course, I'm going to pick the Titans. I'm going 24-17.
I am a realist.
Oh, sorry.
Meaning
Let's just
that
throw my prediction out the window.
I am being completely real when I say the Titans are going to beat the Dolphins.
Boom!
On Sunday,
Yeah!
Whether we play at Nissan Stadium or in Miami. We're going to show these South Beachers what the Bible Belt is all about. I think Titans take this one 20-10. 20-10 Titans. So those are our predictions. One more thing we need to address, because we normally turn to the Madden gods. However, the Madden gods incorrectly predicted the last game.
False hopes.
So what we're going to do is we're going to take a week off from Madden and throw it back a little to some classic teams. So we're going to go the Blitz gods, see if they're smarter than the Madden gods. Madden's pretty good right now, 3-1. That's not a bad record, but maybe Blitz can be better. And so we're going to bring back our Dolphins expert, see how well he is at playing video games.
If he's any better at that than trying to break it down.
Yes, so let's do this.
Let's go.
Titans, Dolphins, classic matchup of NFL Blitz. Boom!
Does it really matter though?
Okay, who am I? I'm blue.
You're blue.
We blitz all night. Joe!
Early mythology says that Titans were greater even than the gods.
In the
Order.
This is the bush light.
Me too.
Feel me, bro? You feel me? I see you right there. You feel me? You feel me?
You feeling him?
Don't buy tuna, kids.